Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Megan. Thanks so much for watching, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a pregnancy update. I know I last updated you guys about weeks 23 and 24, but today, since it's been a while, I'm going to give you a kind of overview of what's been going on since then. So this will be like weeks 25 through about 30-ish. I'll kind of get you up to date on where things are in my pregnancy, and I'm hoping that going forward I can give you guys quick updates more regularly, because I think in the next couple weeks and going forward there's going to be more things going on, so I will have more to talk to you guys about. So before I get into everything, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so that you don't miss any updates. And also go follow me over on my Instagram. I've been a little bit absent from my Instagram, sort of, in the last probably 3 weeks. But again, I do, if I'm not updating on YouTube, I try to update there as well. So let's go ahead and get into this pregnancy update. So today I am 30 weeks and a couple days, and my last doctor's appointment before the one that I had on Friday when I turned 30 weeks was at 27 weeks. That was also the day before my baby shower. And at my 27-week appointment, I had to do the glucose test, which was awful. I made my husband come with me because I didn't know how I would feel with having to drink the stuff and whatever, and I didn't know if I could drive myself home if I wasn't feeling great and all that. So he came with me, but we had to do that glucose test, and I had the orange flavor. Luckily they refrigerated it, but they only gave me 5 minutes to drink it, and I am such a little bird when it comes to drinking liquids that I pretty much ran out of time and had to chug the last of it, because she was like, don't chug it, but you only have 5 minutes. And then at the 30-second mark, I had at least half of it left to drink in that short amount of time. So luckily I was able to drink it, and I did not feel very good after that. They did do an ultrasound to check baby girl's growth, and I looked actually at my results today of that. They said everything looked good, but didn't go into detail really. The only thing that I saw on the screen with that ultrasound was that her legs were measuring 60th percentile, which is kind of funny. I'm pretty long-legged and my husband's not exactly short, so it just makes sense. But overall, her growth is actually, she's 39th percentile. So when I go back in a couple weeks, they will be doing another growth scan. She is still breech at that 27-week appointment, as well as at my 30-week appointment. Still breech, still feet down, and right now we are not expecting her to flip, and I'll get into more detail on that in a second. So finishing up that 27-week appointment, I ended up passing my glucose test by the skin of my teeth. The range is less than 140, so 139 or less is what they look for a passing score, and I passed with 139. So I'm very thankful that I was able to pass that. I was kind of nervous. I've had issues with fasting glucose being high in the past. Not pregnant, but just in general, it's been a little bit higher for me. And my family on my mom's side has a history of type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, all that fun stuff. So I'm just very thankful that I passed that, and that I didn't have to go do a 3-hour, because it would have been miserable. The nurse that drew my blood, she kind of warned me that where she was drawing it from was going to not be so pleasant. And she was like, it might bruise. But let me tell you, I had a giant bruise on my arm for 2 weeks, and she drew it from down here because I guess she couldn't get a vein, and that was the only one that was good, so it was terrible. I don't recommend getting a blood draw done from there. But anyways, I'm happy to say everything at that 27-week appointment went good. The next day I got to have my baby shower, which was amazing. My friends did a great job throwing it. I did post some pictures from my baby shower on my Instagram if you want to go check it out. It was kind of like a woodland fox theme, obviously, because if you can see behind me, there are foxes, and I am absolutely obsessed with foxes. So they did it kind of like boho fox theme. My dog Roxy wore a tutu. It was super cute. So go check that out over on my Instagram. Now, I was planning on doing a full like baby shower haul, and I posted a picture of what baby girl's room looked like the following day, and it was just too much. It was too overwhelming, and I just could not like organize it all, and I felt like I had way too much to return and like sort through and figure out what was I going to keep, what was I going to return. So I ended up not doing that video. I probably won't do any sort of video like that. I don't know. We'll see. I might go through like some of the big things that I got that I'm keeping, and then some of the things that I got that I ended up returning and why I returned those. So if you're interested in that video, comment down below and let me know your thoughts if you want to see like what I returned from my baby shower and what I'm keeping and why. And then also like what we got with the like money or credit that we returned. So anyways, my baby shower is beautiful, and I can't thank my friends enough for putting it together for me. So I'm really happy that I had my baby shower at 27 weeks when I did, because if I overdo it or do too much, I do get a lot of contractions, which I will talk about a little bit later. But at 29 weeks, me and my husband went to our childbirth or prepared labor class or whatever it was called, and it was a good class because they kind of talk about the whole third trimester, preterm labor signs and symptoms, and they give you an overview of pain management options, inductions, C-sections, why you might would have one, and then they also like skimmed over some newborn stuff. So that was a really great class. Super glad we went to it. And then at 29 and a half weeks, my contractions kind of ramped up quite a bit. So before, it would just be like if I overdid it, I would get a contraction. Usually more contractions like at night when I'm laying in bed is when I would notice it the most. But 29 weeks and I think like 5 days or 4 days, I started having them more regularly throughout the day, even at work, and even if I was sitting the whole day. Not that I was like doing a lot of exercise or activity, because I'm not really allowed to do that. And I have been following my restrictions really closely of not lifting more than 15 pounds, not getting on and off the floor, all of that. So I don't know what caused them to kind of ramp up to where they were timeable, but on the Wednesday when I was 29 and some change, I was having contractions 7.5, 8 minutes apart for an hour. And then I finally was like, you know what, I'll just drink some water, go to bed, and see if I can fall asleep. I did end up waking up that next day at like 2 a.m. out of nowhere. Like I was like bright-eyed and like, why am I awake right now? I even tried like going to the bathroom, getting back in bed, but still I was having some contractions. So I'm not sure if a super painful contraction woke me up or if it was just like pregnancy insomnia or whatever it's called. So then on Thursday I had the same thing happen, except I didn't wake up early on Friday morning, so that was really nice. I slept through the whole night, but I was having contractions at the end of the day, like 7.5, 8 minutes apart. And on Wednesday night, my husband was like, maybe you shouldn't go to work tomorrow, maybe you should just stay home. But I didn't want to, And luckily on Thursday I had a pretty light day. Like I had one patient at 7:30 and then I didn't have another one until 1:30 in the afternoon. So I had quite a bit of time to just like chill out and do paperwork. So then Friday, when I turned 30 weeks, I had my 30-week appointment, and this was just an appointment with the doctor. But when I went in and the nurse was asking me how I was doing, how I was feeling, if anything new was happening, I told her about all the contractions that I'd been having and how it kind of like changed and ramped up. And so after I went to leave my sample, I came back to the room that I was in, and the nurse told me that they wanted to do a cervical check. So I had to get undressed from the waist down. Super pleasant. So then the doctor came in and she said, not only am I going to do the cervical check, she said, I'm also going to do the fetal fibronectin test, which is a swab, and that test for likelihood of preterm labor. So if you are positive on this test, what will happen is you'll come in for steroid shots next week, and then we will kind of watch more closely, is what she told me. So basically, if you're positive on this test, your likelihood of going into labor in the next 2 weeks is much higher. So because of that, she wanted me to go in and do the steroid shots if that does come up positive. And I haven't gotten those results yet. I'll make a separate video, just like a quick video when I do get those results, hopefully on Monday. But basically, she did the cervical check and was happy with it. She said it was high and closed and firm. So all of that pointed to no changes with my cervix itself, which is a very good thing. But she still went ahead and did the fetal fibronectin test and just sent it off as a routine test instead of a stat test. So she told me that had my exam been concerning to her, she actually would have sent me downstairs to labor and delivery to have the test done there so that they could get it back more quickly. So to kind of summarize all that, basically I will find out hopefully tomorrow on Monday if I tested positive for the fetal fibronectin test, and if I do, I will have to go in later this week to the office to have steroid injections done. And she said I'll have to have 2 injections 24 hours apart. So that should be fun if that has to happen. Otherwise though, I don't have to go back for another visit until I'm 32 weeks. And for that visit, it will be a growth scan and also a visit with a doctor. So fingers crossed everything goes good with this test and I don't have any risk of going into labor in the next 2 weeks. So fingers crossed that I am not positive on that test and that I don't have to go in and get injections and that I'm not at a higher risk for preterm labor in the next 2 weeks. So that is kind of where we are at right now. I will go ahead and show you guys the bump, which is pretty small. So I was going to do a fancy video to tell you guys baby girl's name, but I haven't figured out a good way to tell you guys yet. So I am just going to go ahead and say her name. Her name is going to be Celie Fox, and I'll put it on the screen for you guys so you can see the spelling. But yeah, that's her name, Little Miss Celie. We are super excited to finally be able to share her name with you guys. And I'm sorry it took so long. We have had her name picked out for a very long time. If you are interested in hearing more about her baby name, leave it in the comments below, and maybe I can make a separate video just talking about her name. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you don't miss any updates. And also go follow me over on Instagram, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!